okay, I cannot stop kind of gushing and applauding and praising Witcher 3 as much as I already have done. And there are lots of videos at the moment about Witcher 3, especially because a new DLC is coming out. But I need to talk about Witcher 3 again, especially about setting boundaries, and how some things in this game relate to the real life, because there was this one, or there are multiple side quests, and you know that if you watched my previous videos, by the way, I noticed that most of you watching this are not subscribed. Maybe help me out, subscribe to this channel. That would be amazing if you do so. Thank you very much. I've always been saying that these side quests, in terms of story depth and the way the voice artists act these out, rival the storylines of some main quests in some other AAA games. So this is really cool. And what I did notice and what I really like, not only are these storylines so well written, but they have so much emotional depth and gravitas when it comes down to the decisions that you're making, that you remember them, you feel them, because not only is it well written, but also the voice artists are so good. And there have been multiple storylines where you're not only the emotional impact have been kind of challenged, but also you are challenged to make decisions, to set boundaries. For example, there's this one quest where this really arrogant, I don't know if he's like the spokesperson of that village or the mayor, I'm not sure. He says, oh, okay, there's a dragon, you need to go out and kind of kill them because it is dangerous, and then you kind of negotiate your rate. You go out, you kill that monster, but you find out it's not a dragon, it's something a little bit smaller, still dangerous, and it was actually a pretty tough fight. And I go back and I'm being honest and I'm saying like, okay, it wasn't a dragon, it was hard, but it wasn't a dragon. And he is like, oh, okay, if that wasn't a dragon, I could have done it myself, so you only get half of your rate. And that was kind of hitting really hard with me, because I'm a freelancer. I work in the advertising world. I'm a freelance film editor, and you as a freelancer, not nowadays as much, the more experience I get, or I got. I mean, I have been a freelance film editor for almost 20 years, and so clients don't really do that often anymore. But back in the days when I was younger, but sometimes also because of the economy, some clients asked me, hey, can you go down with your rate? I had it once or twice where a client, even after the job, was like, oh, okay, the job was great, our work was great, but the client is really tough. We're not going to pay you your full rate. And so that quest really hit hard home with me. And it really got me thinking about, okay, if this was real life, what would I have done? And how would I set my boundaries in that way, or should I have lied about that? And I really was a little bit angry about that guy, and I was like, that is a dick move. Especially saying something, oh, I could have gone out there and done this myself. Because you hear that. If you are not necessarily an editor, you do hear that, for example, when you do photography, when someone is like, oh, why are you a wedding photographer, for example, why are you so expensive? I could do that with my iPhone. Totally neglecting the experience that you bring to the table, the creativity, and just are purely basing it on a device that they have in their pockets, right? So yeah, again, that quest really hit hard home for me. And all of these emotional and really heavy hitting decisions that you sometimes have to make are so close to not so close. Obviously, there's a quest where you are, don't worry, where you are supposed to throw a baby into an oven. That sounds intense, but I'm not going to spoil it. I already spoiled it in a different video, but I'm not going to spoil it here. But those kind of things are really hard. Or when you have to talk to a love interest, okay, how do you approach this and stuff like that. That hits home really hard and tells you a lot about not only the game, the intensity of the stories, but also about yourself, because you learn something, and because it is so, these decisions have so much heft and weight to them, it's more likely that you remember those parts in the game. And which makes, again, this game in combination with a handheld device, for me, such an effective tool to kind of just switch off my brain for a while. And going back to what I was saying in the beginning, setting boundaries, I see it so many times in this game where I'm like, oh, okay, this is very close to something that I sometimes see in my real life, either with clients, either in personal life, where I'm like, okay, this could be a situation where it would be really, really good to set a boundary. And not only just say yes, but also say, okay, I'm not going to do this, or I'm not going to agree with you because you are stepping a little bit over my boundary. And this is something that is actually, I'm still learning. Although I'm over 40, I believe I should have learned this earlier, but it is definitely something where I'm struggling sometimes to set boundaries. To saying no is not that, no, let me rephrase that. Saying a clear no is difficult for me, but I have learned to kind of argument why. Oh no, let me rephrase this again. For me, it's hard to just say no, but I got better at kind of explaining why I might not want to do something instead of being really harsh about it. Sometimes it would be easier to just say no, but I sometimes kind of, for the lack of a better description, wiggle myself out of it. But it's not perfect, but it's still better than just saying, okay, yes, of course, I will do that. So that's something that I already learned, but I still sometimes struggle to set clear boundaries and tell a person, a client, or whatever it might be, not going to do that. Definitely something that I'm still trying to improve. But again, this game reminded me so many times of situations in my life. Obviously, I'm not dealing with monsters here. I'm not fighting monsters. I'm not talking to the mayor of Hamburg to kind of negotiate something or whatever. So it's not obviously a one-to-one similarity, but still were points in the game where it was like, oh, okay, this is actually a cool place to practice and do something what I would be a little bit uncomfortable in real life, but okay, let's try this in the game. And then it works out, and I'm like, okay, let's try this in real life whenever a situation like, or not like that. Again, I'm not fighting monsters here, but a situation where it would be good to set clear boundaries and say no and not do the thing that is asked of me, So I thought this is why this game is so amazing. I really, really, really enjoy Witcher 3, and because of the depth that some of these storylines, some of these decisions have. And I know some of you will say, oh, it's just a game, don't put so much weight on these things. And yes, you're right, it's just a game. But if a game can kind of remind you of, let's say, your flaws or the things that you acknowledge that you need to work on, and you see that and you can kind of practice these things, it makes the game great. And that's why I really like this. So yeah, that was my vlog about setting boundaries and how Witcher 3 kind of reminded me of that. So yeah, maybe check out my video from yesterday. It was also a little bit about gaming and allowing yourself to be bored. Check it out up here. YouTube thinks that you like the video down here. And don't forget to subscribe. It would help out a lot by clicking the button up here. That way we see each other in the next video. Thank you very much.